He has been preaching about Ziggs for, since he was an LCK commentator. It's been absolutely forever, and he got very, very upset. And we have obviously got Daniel Ox Harrison here as well, knowing all of the Ziggs matchups very, very well himself, and so hoping that we don't have an opt-in to the Ziggs Azir matchup once again. But let's see what does happen, as 2 trees just going to be taken off the Rift. T1 not wanting to deal with those, and they're going to move to the blue side. So a little bit of a difference when it comes to what this draft is going to look like. And from now, kind of looks like the Tristana Corki might be back on the menu.
I think so, and I think that Faker will opt into whichever APA doesn't pick, because I think they're fishing for a Sejuani pick. Now, TL reading this pretty well. The Ashe is banned away. It's one that has been so oppressive. Didn't see play in the last game because the Ziggs and the Zeri Ezreal trade bottom side was really more what the game was about. See what this final ban is going to be here for T1, taking away the Ivern, saying it's definitely going to be double 80 carry we see this time around. Jax also removed, was a big problem for them in the previous game, but this means Ziggs is up and available for TL.
Rumble is also up, and I think that that is probably the thing that TL understands needs to be banned. Unless they have some crazy strategy against it, I think it's Sejuani Rumble that they're really struggling with, so maybe you ban something else, or you just get rid of that fiery guy on the top side, because the Fire Yordle is a crazy one, so T1 will get exactly what they want.
Now, as I expected, the Sejuani pick is going to come through here first for T1. Umpty had a fantastic game on it in our previous set, but this does leave open a lot of options here for Team Liquid. Rather than just opting into the Ziggs versus potentially the Tristana, they are going to go for the Corki pick, a little bit more standard here. This will mean that Faker will be able to respond with his own Tristana. And, most of the time, I think a majority of us are leaning towards the Tristana being the stronger pick in this matchup. What jungle will be the answer is the question. They could pick up an AP jungler like the Zyra. That's still available here for Umpty. He loves the Lilia. Don't know if it really makes sense in this draft. Let's see what he's got in mind.
Yeah, quite a few things left up on the table. They could also pick Tristana and Corki.
Probably not, though.
Yeah, that'd be a crazy one.
They do play that Corki in the bot lane.
Strats, exactly.
And I don't usually feel good about it.
Yeah, that's the Ezreal double Trinity Force. So this is like Power Spike City. I love it. Tristana obviously going to be locked away here by T1, but what else are they going to augment their composition with, Wolf? That's my question.
That's a real good question. Might just be the Zeri to come through here for Guma when we play that game again. Could also take the Leona away, but I think the Zeri is just too strong here, and that is what they're going to grab. See if the Leona comes through, or is it just going to be a Ziggs hover?
Yeah, Ziggs hover.
I think the Leona is the best option here. It's kind of a no-brainer with how strong this duo is. We saw T1 play it previously. Obviously was circumvented by the lane swap last time around. And here's where things get a little bit more interesting, because the focus is now going towards a little bit more the top side of things for T1. See what the bans are going to be. Banning away the Gnar could indicate that we're going to trade for a Cassante ban again. We could see the Twisted Fate taken away. The Jax is already banned, however.
Yeah.
What the look is going to be here for TL. What their read is Gnar. Okay, probably that Cassante trade once more.
One of those options, certainly a bunch of things that you can take away, and Zeus is just really good at Gnar, so you can just get rid of that. Mordekaiser to be removed. So maybe T1 with a little bit of another idea. Wanting to limit the amount of AP options as well is a decent idea, but I don't necessarily think that Mordekaiser is going to be the biggest thing that TL are looking for. See what this final ban is going to be, though, because I think you can pay a little bit of mind towards the bottom side of the map as well. With the Leona locked in, you're not worried about a Nautilus for this Zeri composition. But Twisted Fate going to be taken off the board. So real targeting towards Zeus here.
Renekton gone again. So all of these things are kind of what we expected. We saw the Renekton last time. The Mordekaiser is the one kind of pick that stands out. Doesn't feel as strong of a ban, but Twisted Fate, good ban against Zeus. You have the Gnar gone. Cassante being up, though, because they banned the Mordekaiser instead, feels like a pretty easy lock-in here if they want to hide Umpty's pick, but he could just lock that in now and save counter pick for whatever Zeus does, in fact, lock in. Probably the safer bet here. Zyra, I feel really strong in this draft here for TL, but they're not going to lock it in just yet. Going to swap over to the Cassante here. This one felt pretty obvious to me. We've seen Zeus play a lot of other ranged tops, like the Vayne, the Zeri into this pick.
There's a bunch of options that you can play alongside a Sejuani really comfortably as well, like a Camille we've seen rip into a Cassante relatively
and
effectively.
They're going to do it.
As, yeah, the Zeri top lane is just happening once again. So there is the Braum Caitlyn to come out from T1. We've already seen this from G2. Hansama looked decent on it, even though they lost that game number 1. It is an oppressive lane. And Caitlyn, if you look up the stats for Gumayusi, they are pretty absurdly good.
Yes.
Carrier's Braum is something that we've been up and down upon, but we know that he can pilot this champion very, very well. And so now, face up is the T1 draft. I think triple AD carry once again.
Brand, fantastic here. I don't really like the Lilia in this draft. I always think about Lilia when I think about an AP jungler R5 for Umpty, but it is going to be the Brand they lock in. Karthus, I think, is a little bit risky in this draft because there's so much explosive damage, so much 80 carry damage here for T1.
Range, yeah.
And the range is a big problem. The engage range with the Sejuani too. So Brand feels a lot safer and a lot more consistent damage. Now, my concern for TL will be, what does level 1 look like? How do T1 set up these lanes? Do they decide to lane swap? Will we see the Zeri get a massive edge over the Cassante? Because Brand, Cassante versus Zeri, Sejuani, yes, you don't have permafrost synergy there, but it can be a really finicky 2v2 there in the top side if not played correctly. Yes, you have a ton of damage output as the Brand, but if Zeus can whittle that health bar down before those fights happen, it's going to be really tough for Impact to play this one out. So I think this one's a big test for Impact. He played incredibly well in the first game, crushed the mid game, had great macro. Obviously struggled against the Jace early, but he turned it around. So maybe similar story here. I like both drafts this time. This is one of the first games I've cast this tournament, and we've had a lot of wrong reads. The LPL really shocking us, but
yep.
One of the first times I look at the draft to go, well, this one feels to me pretty dead even.
Yeah, it's a little bit more even than what we have seen in the past, absolutely. I think game number 1, definitely TL came in with a draft plan that worked out here. As you can see, Faker taking a little bit of a stretch. Good to see the fist bumps there from Tom, Roach, and Spawn. And we'll look to get into this one, see whether TL are going to be able to just finish this off. Could be a 2-0 for the North American squad. Augment that cash prize once again. Keep that key alive. Keep it out of that hydraulic press and possibly take another opponent's destroyed key with them towards the final. But can't count chickens before they begin hatching, Wolf, as we like to say. And T1, certainly, this is a draft that they looked fantastic on against BLG in the last day that we saw T1 playing. Something that might be able to just get it done once again. And I love watching Gumayusi play the Caitlyn. He is so incredibly good at this champion. And more recently, Wolf, it's been Carrier playing Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So it's really good to see Gumayusi back on one of his best champs without his support just stealing it away.
Yeah, I mean, the Zeri flex to top was something we always knew could have happened here. They kind of baited the Cassante in. They set it up for it perfectly. The Nara was banned, the TF was gone, and then they just left it open. They banned Mordekaiser instead. A new R4 pick priority went to TL, and once again, they have this Zeri top pick ready and set to go. So let's see if this works as well for T1 the second time around.
Yep, we'll just have to see. I think the Rift is ready for us to jump on and get into it. Game number 2, do or die, here for T1. TL take this one. They are going straight towards the final here at EWC. And otherwise, they're heading towards game number 3 once again. The first time the TL has lost here in this tournament if they do lose here. Otherwise, they could make a clean sweep all the way through. As already, CoreJJ in a bit of trouble, but Impact already ready and waiting. Carrier having to flash to get himself out of the way as Umpty moves on over. Let's see whether they can get any added damage down as the rocket jump going to get Faker out of dodge. And TL, yeah, they took a bit of damage, but they definitely answered back.
They certainly did. Flash down for Carrier on this play. CoreJJ did use his Ignite. The health trade definitely favoring TL at the end of things. Faker is going to have to take a complete back. Should be able to get back to lane without any issue. However, and it was a little bit of a level 1 Braum shenanigans. They learned from Barrel. You know, the last domestic match didn't go so well when the concussive blows came through. But this time, TL were ready for it. They also had Impact in position. He's ready for the lane swap that TL are actually going to set up here. See Zeus on the top side. Not going to be laning into a Cassante right away here. And this is quite a unique setup here for Team Liquid. They had an answer from the get-go. And this is one of the big question marks I had going into the second game was, will they just straight up lane it into the Caitlyn and struggle? Also struggling in the Zeri matchup? Of course not, because that would be terrible, and they've already showcased they know how to lane swap, and that's what we're going to be seeing here at level 1.
Yeah, once again, dodging the bot lane matchup, and you can understand exactly why Impact trying to get into range of these minions. Zeus and Ona just going to be pairing up to try and clear out this jungle as quickly as possible. Impact needs to be a little careful. I don't think he's going to get dove just yet, as Ona and Zeus just getting through these camps.
Yep,
they'll start rotating around pretty soon. Umpty on full vision here for T1 at the same time.
Helping the clear, as Brand has an insanely fast clear, and unfortunately, Zeus isn't going to be having a good time 1v2 as the Zeri does have teleport. And Impact, you know, he's not going to like the lane into Zeri. He's obviously going to have a worse time in the lane swap, as all top laners do, into the Caitlyn. Level 2 is hit here. Zeus is coming over.
Yeah, there are 4 people heading towards Impact here who's going to have to vacate. I don't know whether he's going to be able to hit level 2 before he just straight up dies. As Ona comes on over, he'll start off the Gromp here first. But now it's T1, 3-man strong here looking to take plates, and they'll take them quickly at the same time. You can see the back starting to come through from Yun and Core JJ as they have pushed that wave in. That is entirely going to go, but the plate money really pushes this in favor of T1. And this was the change that happened. Is Impact taking a bit of damage here from Ona right now? Permafrost comes down. Impact down to about 300 health. But this is why it's so tough to lane swap, right? Zeus going to teleport up towards his top side after everyone's left. He'll be able to get a fair bit of experience here as well. And these plates going down so much more money into the coffers of T1. You can see that's reflected in the gold.
You can see Impact also, you know, he has teleport, doesn't need to use it, but he is going to be significantly behind in XP when he does clash with the Zeri in the top lane, which is going to be super frustrating to play out, walking all the way back. Now, T1 knew that with the amount of pressure they could put on bottom side, not only could they get some plate gold, which they've gotten 3 of already, they'd probably force a return of Yun and Core JJ. They get no plates. They get an XP lead top side, as well as some of Umpty's jungle there. So big wins really everywhere here for T1. Looked like TL read the play well. The lane swap setup was good, but maybe underestimating some of the power of that Caitlyn push.
Yep. And just wanting to dodge this bottom lane matchup being the big thing, right? Like, that's the only real advantage that they managed to find. Is Impact walking towards Zeus here. Doesn't quite find that Q. As now Umpty moving on in. Flash has to be invested. A lot of respect given over here, as now APA and Faker once again going aggressive. The explosive charge going to even out the trade nicely, as there's a flash to get away from the rocket jump. Faker taking a lot of damage in return, but he has his flash available. APA not so lucky.
Yeah, Faker can just stave off the pressure here, heal up a little bit with that pot. Might be able to actually find himself in kill range once he hits level 6 shortly here. APA going to respect that and just back away. Faker can clear this no problem. Likely a trade of teleports down here.
Yeah, in goes Core JJ. The door is placed in front though. And Carrier is going to say, nope, no presence for you. As Core JJ actually going to tank the Winter's Bite momentarily. Gumayusi taking a lot of damage though from Yun. They do need to be careful. Now Faker going to be teleporting back to lane. Him and APA, both of them utilizing that Summoner spell in order to get back here. And Faker with about a wave of a lead right now. Things looking pretty good as once again, okay. Zeus going to get pushed back. Impact going aggressive, finding the Qs this time around. Zeus not necessarily navigating it quite as well as he was. I thought it was an expert performance earlier on up against BLG. This time around, Impact is finding a few of these angles, but just not quite as much of the farm as Ona is going to get the Valkyrie out from APA. He is still going to get pushed away. Yeah, Faker going so aggressive. There's the Buster Shot. There's the full stack. And there is APA just getting sent back home.
Yeah, I mean, even though he's not in kill range here, that was the level 6 advantage I was discussing moments ago. Can just force in the back. He already has a significant CS lead, and that's going to be furthered. Maybe even play gold coming over now. Umpty is down here on the bottom side. This trap is going to be a bit of an issue here, but they do circumnavigate it.
Yeah.
And T1, I think, have a pretty good read about this.
You can see Umpty. Actually, the Yordle Snap Trap is going to break as Core JJ in that brush, wanting to find an angle here as he clears out the ward. Gumayusi not going to bite, though. And I think Umpty is going to complete this one. Doesn't want to waste too much time down here.
They're going to lose Grubs for this, too, because he wanted to make this happen. But T1 just so smart, able to read the play. And because it's Caitlyn, he's not going to lose too much farm here as well out of that threat because he has such long range to actually last at those minions. Zeus really putting the pressure on up here.
This is feeling a little bit more like what we were expecting out of this matchup. Zeus just relentlessly throwing burst fires towards the Cassante. And Umpty comes on over, is able to clear out this Grump camp, Crow camp pretty quickly, but doesn't see that Ona's moving on in. His top lane in a whole host of trouble. There's first blood going over to Zeus as the turret is going to be tanked here by Ona. Umpty wants to get a little bit of extra damage, but he doesn't have the spells, and it's a double kill for Zeus. They get one back as a consolation prize, but Wolf, are we signing the papers? What's happening?
I mean, I'm almost ready to at this point as Faker.
Yeah, Faker and APA just always fighting here in the mid lane. Down to half health, as is correct for Corki versus Tristana, as we have seen.
Yeah, and Faker not quite able to put that pressure back on just yet. They know that owner was dead, so Core JJ is also coming over here looking for a potential opportunity to collapse in. He does have flash. The wave is going to crash here, but the timing... Ooh, I was going to say the timing pretty good for Faker to get out of here, but he doesn't have TP, so he's going to stick around. He may be in trouble now.
Yep, Core JJ making his way over. There's the flash shield of Daybreak, but Faker's going to buffer the Buster shot so beautifully, and Ona is here as well. Core JJ could be in trouble. No flash up and available, and he has a blast cone. We'll see whether that's going to be enough, but nope. That is going to be concussive blows coming through. Carrier even has the door to make sure they don't take damage from that True Shot barrage. And Impact, possibly also collateral damage from this one. The Extender Beam comes in. The All Out is going to pull Ona over. And maybe Impact now has an avenue for escape, and he does. He'll be able to utilize the Blast Cone, get back towards that top side, but wasting so much time here.
Yeah, he doesn't have TP. And Zeus is going to be able to push this turret pretty quickly here. So he's going to lose some farm, probably going to lose a plate at least. And great rotation from Carrier. APA,
yeah,
in danger.
He does get the honey fruit, but Yun's making his way over, and remember, there's Brand towards the bottom side of this one as well. Carrier gonna get spotted as Umpty looking for it, wants to be able to find the damage, doesn't get the stun as we can see there as the series going to miss. And Carrier does get the passive procced on him, takes a fair bit of damage, but otherwise we'll be able to make it out. Now Zeus just getting to work on this top lane outer turret. 2 plates for the Zeri, who already has 2 kills under her belt. Oh man, that little slingshot I think is going to become a cooler item very, very quickly. Wolf
about to get a little bit more electric here in the inventory. Now Umpty will be able to get this first dragon here bottom side uncontested because of the really proactive play bottom side there by TL. I will say, you know, compared to the LCK, I think T1 and Gen.G are definitely our most proactive early game teams that will make these rotations happen, will look for aggressive plays more often than the rest of the LCK, just simply because they're afraid to make a mistake against a stronger team, fall too far behind. TL, not afraid. That proactivity at least nets them this dragon. If they had lost on both sides of the map, would have been much worse, but still, T1 with a 2,000 gold lead here in this second game. And this Zeri starting to get larger and larger.
Yeah. Oh, there's a solar flare. Gumishi going to get slowed down. True Shot barrage not is going to connect. A little bit of a delay there as Carrier moves on in.
Ona's here.
The door is in a weird spot, but Ona's moving on down. It's a large minion wave though. Gumishi doesn't have a whole lot of health. They spot Bristle and Sejuani as they move into the river. TL going to be safe and get themselves back out. Or are they? Yes, they are.
Yeah. Carrier looking for maybe something here as Faker is relentless of his pressure on APA. Does have a, you know, fair bit of item damage now early with those components and has half of his call completed, so he is really going to pull ahead very soon here.
Ooh, Impact not quite able to find that third Q. Keeping himself in it here towards the top side. Pretty upset about how things went as far as that gank from T1 was concerned. Wasn't a great time and isn't a great time now. As Leandri's now completed for Umpty, he's going to be doing a lot of damage. Does need to watch out for the door. The Unbreakable can make things real tough. As we check out the crowd here in the Qadir Arena.
Came from Dubai to watch the GOAT. We got people here from everywhere. As this is looking like Grubs 2, T1 here. Might be able to get the full 6
already.
Umpty nearby.
I think TL needs to try and get at least one of these, but nope. That is going to be 5 taken here as Ona moves his way out. They'll accept a 5-for-1 trade as far as those Grubs are concerned. It's now Yun fighting against Gumayushi here towards the bottom side. Guma looks to be absolutely fine with that situation, especially with Carrier just off to the side. Jan needs to be so careful. Owner here towards the top side as well. Everyone on TL is in so much trouble. That was a decent dodge there as Jan not going to walk in to the Glacial Fissure. True Shot Barrage looking to be traded as APA moves towards the bottom side. Jan is so low, and APA, he's just going to explode. Faker's in there, Carry's in there, and there is Core JJ trying to Hex Flash his way to safety. I don't think even the Eclipse can save him from this one, though, as Gumiushi almost dies to minions, but he's able to move himself out of the way, and Core JJ will, in fact, be all right.
Yeah, a bit of a miscalculation here for TL. Core JJ staying mid there. Faker able to make the play happen with the TP bottom side. Zeus going to take this top side turret and deny some additional farm. T1 winning everywhere on this play, and Guma down on the bottom side. He's not quite able to get the kill with his ult, but still enough damage there. And this was just such a good read from T1, knowing that Leona is still mid. They can TP in, match the Corki here. There's a really cool moment as well here for Faker, where you see he realizes, he calculates, do I Buster Shot APA? No, I think I kill both of them. Goes for Yun instead with the flash, then kills APA, picks up so much money. 3 kills now on this Tristana, who also has 5 grubs. This is the magic number to wreck turrets in this mid game. Faker is going to be a menace in this second game.
He already is, absolutely. And I feel like T1 have taken game number 1 personally here as Yun going to get pushed away. Zeus comes in and Yun's like, I thought their AD carry was a Caitlyn. He's not. Oh, well, he is. But it's also a Zeri coming from the top side of the map, and Core JJ once again finds himself underneath the turret with kind of nowhere to go. Winter's Bite is going to miss.
More kills, more plates.
Waiting for the minions, and I think this Leona is just going to go down. Solar Flare is a lot of extra value, and Zeus, he will die. 600 gold goes over to a Leona, but they'll lose their outer turret on this bottom side.
It's almost arguable that this is a big win for Zeus as well. No one else is going to be able to get that shutdown gold going to Leona. Still relatively valuable gold. Of course, they get something back for it, but that's another turret, another plate. And T1 in full control right now. You can see Impact is pushing top side, is Shadow, but Yun's in trouble.
Dear. Yun is just going to get prisoned and destroyed. Able to give a good old thumbs up before that one, is now TL looking to try and counteract the play. Let's see whether Impact can find anything. The all-out does go down onto Ona, as the ultimate from Carrier is pretty good there as well to keep them at bay. Impact is getting lower and lower as Gumiushi is firing shot after shot into the back of this Cassante. APA moving over, though. Let's see whether this Corgi is going to be enough to be the difference maker, and the answer is probably not yet. T1 just walk it off.
And T1, they know too. I mean, this is a bit of a, it's a tough call to make for Impact, because if he stays topside, he gets an additional plate. He's able to maybe get some gold out of it, but he commits his TP, won't get anything for it, doesn't get the plates topside there as now plates expire, and it's concussive blows and permafrost. And you're Cassante, unfortunately, it's really tough to make that work with the TP coming through, even with those low health bars there for T1. With the pushback, though, looks like they'll be able to secure their second Drake of the game. We'll see what soul it is, because it's going to take a big comeback in this one for TL if they're going to bring us to the 2-0 win to upset completion. It's Infernal, so at least, extremely valuable soul they've got a 2-dragon lead on. But I don't know if this is going to be the last dragon they take in this game or not. I'm kind of leaning that way, because there's just no map control whatsoever. Another turret down. I mean, T1 just feels like they could do no wrong with this lead.
Certainly feeling like we're getting angry T1. I feel like we got angry G2 yesterday after dropping the first game to FlyQuest. Angry T1 are certainly out here in game number 2, and this is immaculate gameplay. This is what we were expecting from the world champions.
In game 1?
I mean, what we're expecting in a grand scale, but they did just lose to KT, so there needs to be some caveats. But after taking down BLG, it's definitely good.
No, true. I mean, in game 1, it was TL game to play their game, their play style, their game plan. T1 had to react. This time, it's T1 playing their game plan, their play style. The Zeri top flex, Guma's Caitlyn, excellent handling of the lane swaps, good map movements. All around, you can see the gold lead reflected here.
That's a lot of 80 carries with a lot of money, Wolf.
Yeah, it's 3 of them at the top of the charts. Faker actually behind Zeus in gold, despite being a 3-kill Tristana, was able to take up so much there in the mid turret as well. But it just really shows how well T1 knows how to play this comp. But this is the style of comp they practiced going into this tournament, the style of comp they showed us in their very first game against BLG. And it is a much different story, a far cry from game 1.
Certainly is. Humpty now moving in, wants to try and stay out of vision as he moves into the top side here. To try and catch them unawares with this Large amount of damage that he does have available. Owner looking for impact, and we'll be able to find the Winter's Wrath. Yon moving up as well, and the Brand is still lurking. Now going to be following these minions forward. Can this flank angle actually work out as Yon has to get himself out of the way? Teleport to come in from APA as well as Zeus going to get slowed down, and he will pop like a balloon. And that could... Talking about there, Wolf, because that could have been a much larger shutdown if it hadn't already gone over to core.
True, but it's still a big kill here onto the Zeri.
Oh, okay, Faker. He's going to dive into 3 people. Not sure about that one. He flashes away immediately. Maybe just didn't quite know where everyone was because there's a Rift Herald destroying the inner turret in mid lane, and TL seem unconcerned about that particular eventuation. It's going to be Umpty going down, though, and T1 are winning on this side as well. Core JJ takes down Owner, but T1 are still on the offensive. TL get towards the inner turret. Not going to be any more deaths for now, but I think that inner turret is going to be worth.
That's a very T1 moment there, where Faker goes in, the rotation is coming up of his support, and mid laner, or rather top laner, is pushing bottom lane. They have to push in mid. Guma can crush that turret so quickly, so buying time, keeping TL locked in to the top lane. They get mid turret, they're going to get this bottom inner.
Yeah, trying to protect the minions here as they look to try and take down the turret. They will be able to do so as APA has to flash away Impact. Looking to make his way in, though. Core is there as well. And Zeus, it turns into 1v2. He flashes forward. APA will go down, but it'll be a trade as the Zenith Blade max range will help lock down Gumayushi. TL, they ain't going down without a fight, but it's still not looking too great for the North American squad, down 9,000 gold.
Yeah, there's just no critical kills onto the carries here. You know, there's no extra gold going over to APA. The shutdown there from Zeus there, or rather the kill traded from him, was actually well played. And then you look at Corki sitting on a Triforce and a stacked tier. That's not really where you want to be in this mid game when you're looking at a Tristana sitting on 2 items, a Caitlyn about to be hitting 2 as well. The Zeri also very much close to 3 items, sitting on 6 kills. And so, yes, you got some shutdown gold. Yes, you got some kills back, and it's not just TL going quietly into that good night. But at the end of the day, this Tristana with 5 grubs, we talk so much about this in this tournament, in the LCK, everywhere regionally, in every domestic league. This Tristana can be such a problem, and she certainly is. Zeus knows he is doomed here. Yeah, decides to go for the kill.
As soon as Yon's over the wall, he's like, well, I'm dead. Let's see whether I can kill someone as I go down.
And Umpty actually, you know, I don't want to say he stole the kill, but going over to him, still relatively useful gold here because Brand utilizes items very well in terms of team fight damage, but it's the Ezreal that can never stand up to this Caitlyn, cannot stand up to a Zeri. I mean, it's just going to get aced in the hole here by Guma and pushed back. And this is the problem here for TL, is if the shutdowns were on the right champions, if the kills went over, maybe you could see a world.
Impact might be able to find an opportunity here as the Glacial Fissure comes down. Doesn't really do too much there as it's eaten by Impact. And now Core JJ taking a lot of damage. Faker could be in trouble, though. The big one, oh, just barely is going to miss as Carrier. He'll have the door back, and he'll be able to protect the go to the mid lane. In the meantime, Owner's looking to 1v1 Yon, who does have the cleanse available for the Glacial Prison. But the fact that Owner can kind of walk in front of 3 people and not care while an inhibitor is being taken on the bottom side of the map just shows how far T1 are in the lead.
Yeah, and we talk about Zeri's ability to kill turrets sometimes when you end up getting a kill in the mid lane, and it's like, okay, AD carry is going to maybe get some extra plate gold if it's that early going mid, or okay, maybe going to grab an early turret because she can hurt turrets really well. And the side lane, as a top laner, can do a lot. Now, this is a Hail Mary call here. They have control vision on this Baron. They've swept it. I don't know if they have enough damage, though, and Carrier spots this out. Faker nearby. They're in trouble.
Yeah, now Core JJ actually going to get tagged by the Winters. By the Ignite comes in, and Faker, he does have the rocket jump. He kind of learned from what happened last time around, though. Doesn't want to dive in on top of 3 people. And T1, they do exactly what they want, right? They get them off the Baron, stop that from being traded potentially, and force TL to go back. And so not really going to be losing anything from this play. We're approaching 10,000 gold, the lead for T1. And they're going to start stacking. It could be a 4 stack of Infernal Drakes if this game goes that long.
I don't know if we're setting up for a game that long with a 10,000 gold lead, but you know what? It certainly could. That's an extra backup plan, you know, potentially.
Maybe they'll kill the Nexus first, but after they kill the Nexus, they'll go back and they'll kill the rest of the dragons.
Yeah, they'll just not press continue and go back to the post-game screen.
Yeah. Do you want to keep playing? Yes, please. As we've all been in that situation, you know? You feel like you've got such a great run going that even though the game's kind of over, you want to play with those cool items that you've built.
I want to play, T1 want to play endless in this one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this Baron, definitely, there's enough damage here for T1 to take this one out. Keria is just kind of holding the door metaphorically here in this choke point. They have also this Caitlyn trap. Really tough for TL to close the gap. They're not going to actually complete the Baron, but we'll just put Guma in mid and continue to push. Yun's used his E, and now we're set up for a potential vision clear and start it up again.
Yep.
Look at the Caitlyn traps now.
All of the traps just going to be lining the choke as teleport actually going to be invested here from Zeus. So T1, they want to lock down this Baron now. Looks like TL should be able to get themselves in here though, so at least it could be an opportunity. Flash available for Umpty to get into the pit. Let's see whether the general can be the hero. He flashes through, but he's unable to lock it down, and now T1 are going to get their team fight. Already the brand is being taken out. Core JJ so low, but there's the all out from Impact, and Yon over to the side. Zeus, the last man standing really here as far as the damage is concerned. That was obscene from TL.
Impact really playing that very well there, and you're all stacked up on the Baron. Guma is just so fragile in these moments, and yes, you get the Baron here, but TL with a much better setup coming into the fight. They have a Leona pushing through, got over the trap wall there and was able to close the gap, and then T1 are kind of trapped there. They win the 50-50. I mean, it's practically a 50-50 in this case. Umpty is not quite able to steal it, but they can't win the ensuing fight. These types of fights, I mean, this is one baby step, it feels like, compared to the gold lead here. But these types of fights, if you can win a few of these, maybe TL could get back into this game. As you see, Core JJ slips through the traps here. Yun on a nice angle here. And when Umpty comes through, the smite does come over. But look at this engage from Core JJ. APA free firing over the wall. And there is just no way out here. Then Impact says, all right, Guma, I'm taking you with me, but also using you to close the gap. Zeus will just barely escape with his life, but it's a huge swing of gold here for TL. Still 9,000 gold behind.
Yep, so much shutdown money going over to Yumbo, so that's definitely fantastic for this Ezreal. As Core JJ going in once again. Gumayushi, nice net to get himself out of the way of the Solar Flare. There's now Impact trying to be valuable, looking for these Qs as Keria standing stalwart in that front line. T1 just going to get these waves in order though. The one last Baron circling around Zeus here will be able to conga line all of these minions with full power towards the inhibitor in the mid lane.
Just going to run circles around TL here, not take the straight up 5v5 fight. They don't want to deal with Impact as a frontliner.
This is somewhat dangerous, though. You can see Impact is rotating over, and there is a Zenith blade to connect this one. Pillar of Flame not really landing, and that is a True Shot Barrage straight into a door. And Faker wanting to take down this inhibitor. Oh my goodness, okay, Zeus, I'm not sure about that one, but he takes down the brand, and there goes another one as well. They get the shutdown, but is it going to be worth it as Impact is a brick wall, and he's going to be able to take another one. Yun chasing after Faker. He is rocket jumping and blast coning, and will be able to get himself out, but again, it's TL winning the fight.
Yeah, let's see if Yun can catch Faker here. It looks like he's not going to take the chance. Doesn't have flash. Looking for a potential angle here. We're just going to head topside instead. No, I don't know if he actually wins that one anymore, unfortunately for him either. If he does find Faker, Faker would be happy to take the exchange. But at the end of the day here, you can really start to feel the lack of a true frontline here for T1. As Keria, when he's got the door, he's a frontline, but when it's on cooldown, it gets a little bit tougher. Owner's isolated here by Impact on the other side, and there just isn't the same amount of consistent damage here to deal with Impact, even when you have 380 carries. Once Guma jumps in and makes interesting decision there, let's say, the damage output, unfortunately, to break through this Cassante is just not there. And that's the trade-off. Yeah, you have 380 carries, so yeah, maybe you can toss one in and it won't necessarily matter. But TL, they have a huge front line. Randuin's is done. He's got Warden's Mail as well. He's so incredibly tanky. And I think T1 still massively in the lead, of course, and looking to get their second Infernal, but maybe need to play a little bit respectfully in the next engage.
I would agree. I think TL are also going to get a little bit more scary as this game goes on, right? Because we haven't really spoken about the damage profile because the game kind of went completely out the window very early on. So items weren't necessarily a relevant thing. However, you mentioned the amount of armor that Impact's building. You can also see a Warden Mail being picked up by Core JJ. There's some Tabis being picked up across the board outside of Umpty, who does want those sock shoes. And so if this game is allowed to go on much longer, and you can see it's 14-13 in the kills. TL have really pulled back as far as that is concerned. It's the 8 turrets to 0 that's the massive gold lead.
Oh, yeah.
But with bounties up, if they start to take some of them, it could really swing back as the Glacial Prison. Not a whole lot of follow-up here as TL are going to stand their ground for the moment. Zeus pokes his head out as now Faker thinks he's found Yun, but he does have the Arcane Shift to get himself out of the way. And now Zeus, we're going to chase after Impact. Umpty going to be the one corner though, and Zeus takes him out. Oh, the brand is a big part of the damage profile here for TL. And now Core JJ, the next one that's going to be taken out. They're falling like dominoes, just one after the other. And right as I was talking about it, the window's back in here for TL. T1 are going to kind of slam the door shut on their fingers as this inhibitor turret is going to fall down. The second inhibitor going to go as well. And T1, they might have been thinking about it as well. They're like, well, let's just not let them build those cool armor items. Let's just end the game.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to end here unless they get another pick. Umpty coming up in 12 seconds, Core JJ up in 10. They should be able to grab that final inhibitor, so that in itself is practically as good as the final nail in the coffin here for TL, but they still have one final opportunity here. 45 seconds until this next Baron spawns. And like you said, I was going to say it and you called it out first. If they win one fight, grab Baron, and take all of the standing gold that's on the map, plus the bounties they'll pick up, I mean, the gold lead will actually swing. It's rare to see, like, to even discuss the possibility of, like, a 10,000 gold swing, but it's there for the taking. All they have to do is win the fight. Now, that's the hard part. That's the tricky part. 3 inhibitors down. I don't see it happening. I don't think it's going to occur. But it may be a Hail Mary, maybe some miracle play comes through, but I think T1, all they need to do is play safe, control this vision, let the minions, the super minions, do the work, double stacked across all 3 lanes with no inhibitors up. TL fighting blind.
As Yun wanted to avoid the ace in the hole damage, 50% on the health bar now, as Ona just kind of able to ignore what Umpty's doing at this point in time as the Baron getting taken down so incredibly quickly. There's a lot of 80 carries in this game, and they do a lot of DPS. As Umpty looking to move in once again. He does have Flash one more time as well. And T1, yeah, they know that this is not the fight they really want to take, and they don't have to. Because there are super minions that will win the game.
The minions are doing their job, and this is putting TL between, as we like to say in the LC game, between a rock and a hard place. You're going to either have to defend your base, but you got to stop this Baron. You can't do both.
Yep. And it's a very precious rock and a purple place in this game, Wolf. That's where they find themselves. And T1, they kind of want to win a fight. Is Carrier going to go down first? There is the passive being procced, but look at this. I mean, Zeus is just in there. Impact goes all out, but he will be dead. Or out of there. Yeah, there he goes. Explodes in a fiery explosion of cinders. That is going to be the second Nexus of the series going down, but it's one apiece after game number 2.
And you know what? We got to see TL play their game in game 1. The Ziggs, absolute control with the lane swaps. T1 plays their game in game 2. And we got to see 2 back-to-back stomps between LCK's representative, the final one, and NA's. I can't wait to see what game 3 has in store for us.
I can't wait either. I think a little bit more one-sided here in game number 2, but game 3, it'll be a side selection switch over. We're going to go to a short break. When we get back, the studio are going to break it down.